Ptpop here, all four lobes of my brain securely bound behind my back, and today is another episode of Call Center Survivor. Today I'm going to talk about a settlement payment I received with a lawsuit I was involved in with the company I work for here in the Cleveland area. Stay tuned. One thing I try to be on here is honest and straightforward when it comes to anything. I try to be like a shoot from the hip type of guy or just very straightforward. I have a very hard time being phony, especially when it comes to talking about working in call centers. And as I've told you all, call centers are a modern day sweatshop. They're shitholes. They're awful places to work. They're soul-sucking, soul-killing jobs that will rape you and leave you bleeding on the side of the road. Plain and simple, they're awful places to work. And this is just more proof of what I've been saying. What you see on the screen here is a check I received in the mail for a lawsuit I was involved in with a company I worked for a couple of years ago. I did not initiate this lawsuit, but another person initiated a lawsuit against this company for not paying overtime. And one day I opened up the mail here at home, and I pulled out this letter saying, hey, we understand you used to work at XYZ Corporation. Would you be interested in participating in this lawsuit against this company? And the minute I saw the name of the company, I was like, hell yeah, this place is as dirty and as crooked as they come. And this company that I worked for did not pay overtime. They would not pay overtime. I worked in the call center for this company. I was a call center representative for this company. I worked there for 90 days. And I resigned after 90 days because it was such a shithole place. So I'm at this company, and they did not pay overtime. So if you got to your workstation in the call center 15 minutes early, and you logged in to all of your systems, you would not be paid overtime. You would not be paid for that time. They told you specifically you could not be paid for that time. But they would not give you time at the beginning of your shift to get logged into your shift. To get logged into your system. So for instance, if your shift started at 8 a.m. and you showed up at 7:45 and you logged into your system so you'd be ready to go when your shift started at 8 o'clock, they would not pay you for the first 15 minutes of being there. Because this is how it works in a call center. If your shift starts at 8, you're expected to be on the phones and taking calls at 8 o'clock promptly. Some companies will give you a 5-minute leeway. So if you get there at 8, you're not considered late unless you log in after 8:05. And they claim that this gives you 5 minutes to log in your system. Now, I don't know about the rest of you. I've got an iMac on my desk here in front of me. And this computer is 5 years old. And it sometimes takes 10 minutes for this thing just to warm up. It's like an old, console TV set from the 70s. It takes forever to come up and get powered up and connect to the internet. It takes forever. And that's the way these systems were in this company. You couldn't, if they gave you 5 minutes, you'd be late for your shift and then you get in trouble. So a lot of us came in 15 minutes early, got logged in, so we could start taking calls at the top of the hour, like 8 o'clock if your shift started at 8. But a lot of us were like, well, you're not going to pay us for that time? And like every day, 15 minutes every day starts to accumulate. It was one of many things that this company did that was shady. It was just very shady. Let's put it that way. I get this letter in the mail a year ago, probably almost a year ago, saying, hey, you used to work at this company. This person is suing them for overtime. Are you on board with this? Do you agree with this? I wrote back and I said, yes, include me in on this lawsuit. This company did not pay overtime and would not pay overtime even if you were owed it, which is a violation of all kinds of, I think it's a violation of all kinds of work regulations and things like that. So I just kind of put it out of my mind. I didn't think about it. I got a couple of notices in the mail that the pending lawsuit was going on and they'd keep me up to date. So apparently another coworker of mine who worked there at a similar time when I did decided to take on the Goliath, and this person decided to sue them for their overtime, and they won. And I'm very proud of whoever this person is because, as you can see in this check, after taxes, my overtime came to $29.40. I don't know what this other person's overtime totals came to. The reason why my check is so small is I came up with a system. You're supposed to log completely off your computer at night. You're supposed to shut it down and log off. I never did. What I would do is I stayed logged into all my systems. So when I got there at 8 o'clock, if I got there at 5 minutes to 8, I could just go to my desk, bring my computer back awake. I just would put it to sleep and I wouldn't log out. I'd put the computer screen to sleep. Most of the people there management were too stupid to check if all the systems are logged out. And I'd come in the next day, I would just bring the computer back awake, log into my workstation, and then my systems would still be there. They didn't time out. Or I just would have to quickly sign into each of my systems. So I figured out a way that I didn't have to be there any earlier than I had to be. Since I wasn't going to get paid for it, I wasn't going to show up any earlier than I had to. So, but the few times that I did, I guess they did compensate me for it, though I don't know how much overtime they owed me, because I didn't keep track of it. I just know they didn't pay me overtime, even though I had been there. But the point is, they're all dirtbags. These call centers and these companies that have call centers do not care about you at all in any way, shape, or form. And they will scrimp and scratch and scrape to save every dime they can possibly save without having to pay you anything. I mean, look at this. All they had to pay me was, well, apparently comes out to $29.40 after taxes, Medicare, Social Security, and stuff. But all they had to do was pay me my time and pay everybody else their time. There have been no lawsuits. And they didn't care. This is what these companies do. They'd rather make this person go through all of these hoops just to get what they felt they were owed in overtime than have to actually pay them. Now think about the insanity behind that, because these major corporations have a huge legal department. They have attorneys, paid on-staff attorneys, that sit at the top of the ivory tower just for instances like this, and they try to make it as hard for this person as possible. These companies do not care about you. And look at this. I mean, I'm one of hundreds of plaintiffs, plaintiff. I'm a plaintiff in this. I'm probably hundreds, or maybe not hundreds, but there's probably at least 50 plaintiffs in this situation that said, hell yeah, I'll take the money. And just think of this. If they had just gone by the book and they just said, yeah, we'll pay you overtime, we'll give you 15 minutes overtime a day to log into your systems, none of this would have happened, but they didn't care. They didn't care. And they would have rather pay their attorneys and all their legal staff and the attorney's assistants all the money to pay them on an hourly basis to drag this guy's name or this gal's name, whoever it was, through the mud, than have to pay their employees what they're worth. Think of how much extra it cost them just to get to this point in business. This is not a kosher business. This is not a company that you'd want to work for. This is not the kind of company that's doing business by the book. They're doing shady things behind the scenes, and this is just what they do to you in the call centers. They do not want to pay you. They'll pay you as least amount of money as possible. They won't give you benefits. They'll ride you into the dirt until you're dead on the floor with a headset on. And then they'll deal with the legalities of it later. They don't care. This is exactly what this says right here. For $29, well, actually, for $38.72, it was worth more to them to hold on to that $38.72 than it was to pay them, to pay me or to pay anyone. I don't know what the other person got. I don't know what the settlement was or the details of the settlement. But this is just a prime example of how dirty, not just call centers, but the corporations behind the call center are maniacal dirtbags that do not care about you at all. You're working a job to make somebody else's dreams come true. You're wearing that headset so the CEO can go down and play golf in the Bahamas, fly down there on his Learjet or on his yacht with his hooker or his leather mistress, and have a good time while his wife is home taking care of the kids. I guarantee it. These are not Boy Scouts. These are not good people that run these corporations. They're dirtbags. Every single one of them. I don't care if it's Stephen Jobs or Bill Gates or Donald Trump. They're all dirtbags. They're sociopathic, psychopathic people that would rather make you squirm over $38.72 than pay it to you up front. I mean, that right there, all that is to me is gas for my car. That's barely enough to fill my gas tank in my car. But just think of that. If they had just paid us all what we were worth and how we had worked and been truthful and straightforward with us, no lawsuits would have been happened. No lawsuits would have happened. And they did. They didn't want to do it. So I just wanted to show you this is proof that some judge or I don't know if it went to a judge or it went to a jury or if it went to a settlement court or behind the scenes settlement. I don't know how it all works in the courts. But somebody said, yeah, this company really screwed these people. Let's pay them. Or the plaintiff pounded it up their butt so hard they finally said, okay, what can we do to settle this thing and make it go away? And I'm sure inside the call center, all the managers had all kinds of meetings about this. Make sure people are well aware we don't pay overtime, or let's start paying them overtime, or this is what happened. Let's not let this happen again. If there's any troublemakers, let's make sure we work them out of the system. I'm sure they did it. These corporations do not care about you. They care about their money. They care about their wealth. They care about their prestige and their power. They care about the hookers they go out on the side, their boats and their yachts and their mansions in the mountains of Wyoming. I mean, they do not care about you at all. And they will fight to the death over $38.72. They will fight you to the death over $38.72. I'll say it again. They will fight you to the death over $38.72. You know how much that $38.72 probably cost them in legal fees? These companies don't care about you. And that's why I started my podcast, Ptpop, A Mind Revolution. These companies trick you and manipulate you as consumers. They trick and manipulate you as employees. They trick and manipulate you every freaking step of the way. Major corporations have hired psychologists, staff psychologists, to figure out how to work and manipulate the general public to get them to buy products. It's proven. I'm reading books on it right now. They've got staff psychologists to screw you over to get you to buy products you don't need, you don't want, you can't afford. They know how to use you. They know how to manipulate you and treat you like a whore. They bend you over and they do you up the backside over $38.72. Think about it. It doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter if you work at the library. It doesn't matter if you work at some nonprofit, quote, nonprofit place. It doesn't matter if you're working anywhere. And everybody's out somehow to make money off of you, use you, or manipulate you. It doesn't matter if you're working for a church. Church is all about money. Church is all about fear. Drive the fear aspect. Get people to give you money. Because get it in people's heads that if they don't tithe, they're going to go straight to hell. It's all fear. Fear to get money out of your pocket, out of your purse, out of your bank account, out of your 401k. Fear right now is being used to deplete all of your finances, to make you weak and scared. This coronavirus thing that they're doing, this COVID-19, it's all bullshit. And who's behind it? Major corporations, pharmaceutical corporations are fighting for the alleged cure. They've known about this infestation or infection for months before they even announced it. It was all propped up by major world governments. Think about this. Major corporation I work for held on tightly to $38.72 because they didn't want to pay it out of their own pocket. They would rather go to court and make you beg for it. They want you to beg for every last dollar. They want you to squirm. They want you to beg till your eyes are bleeding. They do not care about you. Ptpop, check out my podcast. It's called Ptpop, A Mind Revolution, where I try to educate those of you who want to come out of the rabbit hole. I educate you of the ploys, the psychological ploys and behavior modification techniques that major corporations use to get you to buy things you don't need, don't want, and can't afford. To change your behavior, they change your mind, they change your attitude. They get you to hate. They get you to hate each other, hate other people, to hate candidates, to hate. It's all about hate and fear. It's fear porn. But I'm signing off. Thanks for watching. Let me know some more of your call center survivor horror stories. Take care. Bye.